guys, Kiwi here. Warning is spoilers for Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, and possibly El Camino. In this video, I'll be breaking down the significance of all the main 10 opening title sequences for Better Call Saul, why they deteriorate over time, along with the bonus episodes 610 to 613 openings as well. Like the video if you end up enjoying it, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitter for more Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad content. With that being said, let's jump into the breakdown. So the title sequence to Better Call Saul is short and to the point. They all have a purposely low quality and gritty feeling to them, which is implemented just amazingly, giving the low budget early 2000s vibe that Saul Goodman is known for with his commercials.
I'd Better Call Saul!
Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do.
Although the theme song is the same every time, each episode has a different scene or shot that's shown throughout episodes 1 to 10 of each season. Each title sequence depicts a shot of various images from Jimmy's future life as Saul Goodman, with some being more significant than others. So first, let's go through the 10 main episode intros and discuss the significance to each shot before discussing the deterioration of them, along with the 610 to 613 bonus intros. Episode 1 of each season shows the Statue of Liberty blow up, which is an iconic symbol of Saul Goodman's office. Nearly every time we get a scene with Saul's office during Breaking Bad, we usually get an establishing shot of Saul's office from the outside, which includes the Statue of Liberty blow up on top. This goes along with the whole cathedral justice theme to Saul's office that he has during Breaking Bad, including huge foam pillars in his office, followed by the We the People Constitution on the wall behind him. The cathedral justice was actually an idea given to Jimmy by Kim in 601, something that he breaks to Kim about in 612 when they're signing the divorce papers.
And Saul Goodman has an office. Something eye-catching. A cathedral of justice.
Ooh, a cathedral of justice. Okay, yeah. What do you think? Pretty great, right?
Yeah, it's, Yep.
Also, it's heavily implied that Saul got the Statue of Liberty blow up from the Kettlemans, as we saw Saul staring at it outside of the Kettlemans' tax service business near the beginning of Season 6. Although we never see exactly how Saul acquires it, it's implied that Saul either purchased it from them with some of his sandpiper money, and or considering the fact that he may still have had the Kettlemans under his thumb ever since Kim blackmailed them and scared them off in 602.
I'm keeping my eye on both of you. You think you've lost everything? You have no idea.
Episode 2 of each season shows Saul Goodman's white 1997 Cadillac DeVille. This is another item that completes Jimmy's full transformation into Saul Goodman, which he actually acquired off-screen as well. Fans always wondered if maybe Saul got the Cadillac as a present from Lalo or the cartel, but as it turns out, Saul most likely just purchased it with his sandpiper money. Saul having a flashy car is also an idea that Kim gave Jimmy in 601 during the same conversation as the Cathedral Justice, after giving Jimmy a hard time for the Ford Taurus that he had got for them.
Rented us a car. So it's the Ford.
So Saul Goodman drives a brown Ford Taurus. Don't you think Saul Goodman would drive something with a little more flair?
Such as?
I don't know. Definitely American-made. Something showy.
Saul's Cadillac also has the iconic LWYRUP vanity license plate, which stands for Lawyer Up, which obviously means to hire a lawyer. Fun fact, this episode 2 shot of Saul's Cadillac is actually from Season 3, Episode 3 of Breaking Bad, Full Measure, when Saul is driving Walt to the laser tag place that Saul wants Walt to buy as a money laundering business instead of the car wash. So in a way, even though we don't actually see him on screen since Walt is in the car, the Episode 2 intro sequence could technically be seen as Walt's first Better Call Saul cameo. Episode 3 of each season shows a woman ashing into the scale of justice, which is not only a popular symbol for the law in general, but is also part of the Better Call Saul logo. Some think this is Kim ashing a cigarette into the scale, which is possible, although highly unlikely, since Kim wasn't involved in Jimmy's life as Saul Goodman, since the full transformation of Jimmy into Saul only happens once Kim breaks up with Jimmy, along with the fact that Kim was only ever in Saul's office once when they were signing their divorce papers. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that we've ever seen Kim wear red nail polish, so this is probably just a miscellaneous client of Saul's if it's even canon, or maybe one of his sex workers even. Episode 4 for each season shows Saul's drawer of burner phones that we see him have in Breaking Bad. Not only that, but we get a glimpse of the Hello Kitty phone, which is the phone that Saul gives Jesse in Season 5, Episode 11 of Breaking Bad.
Seriously? Hello Kitty? Seriously? It's free?
Also, Better Call Saul explains why Saul Goodman has so many burner phones, as it's the side hustle that Jimmy ventured in while he was suspended from the law in Better Call Saul Season 4. I love how Better Call Saul shows Jimmy selling burner phones to criminals during Season 4, as it not only explains Saul's obsession with burner phones, but also explains how Saul gained his criminal clientele, as he advertised his law practice while selling burner phones in the beginning of Season 5 in order to transition his burner phone customers into his legal clients. Episode 5 of each season shows a park bench with a Saul Goodman ad on it. This isn't just any park bench, however, it's actually the same park bench that we see in the beginning of Breaking Bad Season 2 Episode 8. This Breaking Bad episode is titled Better Call Saul, and it's the first episode where Saul Goodman makes an appearance in Breaking Bad. This park bench that we see at the beginning of the episode is the same park bench where Badger gets arrested at, causing Walt and Jesse to hire Saul as his lawyer. Not only that, but it's the same park bench that we also see at the end of the episode where Walt, Jesse, and Saul orchestrate a fake Heisenberg to take the fall. Episode 6 of each season shows a payphone with a Saul Goodman ad on a used phone book. There's not much to say about this specific payphone, aside from the fact that it's used in various promos and posters for Season 1 of Better Call Saul. Episode 7 of each season shows the Swing Master that we've seen Saul use various times during Breaking Bad, such as Season 3 Episode 13 when Mike walks in on Saul using it. Mike also walks in on Saul using his Swing Master during the Better Call Saul 611 Breaking Bad flashback. Not only that, but Gene also buys a Swing Master during 611 after the identity theft con, as Gene slowly reverts back into Saul Goodman. Episode 8 of each season shows a spider crawling under one of Saul Goodman's ties. This shot is set out in the desert of New Mexico, which is fitting considering how many iconic scenes are set out in the desert during Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Also, is it possible that the spider is a Drew Sharp reference? It kinda looks like a tarantula, which is the type of spider that Drew Sharp collected in a jar during Season 5 Episode 5 of Breaking Bad. Drew Sharp is of course the child that Todd kills at the end of the episode after the train heist, and in El Camino it's revealed that Todd actually kept the spider.
No!
Episode 9 for each season shows one of Saul's matchbooks at the bottom of a urinal. This is the same matchbook that we saw multiple times throughout Breaking Bad, with Jeff the cab driver even telling Gene that he recognized him from the matchbook during the Season 5 Gene scene.
I used to see you everywhere. You're on the billboards, on the TV. I used to have one of your matchbooks.
Jimmy also used matchbooks as advertisements long before he ever became Saul Goodman. He used them while practicing law under the name James McGill, as we saw Nacho write his number on one of Jimmy's matchbooks back during the end of episode 102.
For when you figure out you're in the game.
I'm not in the game. I promise.
Episode 10 for each season shows Saul's #1 lawyer coffee mug spilling over the side of his desk. This coffee mug has also been given a deeper meaning to it due to Better Call Saul Season 5 and 6, and here's why. During the first 5 seasons of Better Call Saul, Kim gave Saul multiple world's second best lawyer coffee mugs since Jimmy was always second to Kim.
Oh, such a beautiful wrapping job. It's a shame to open it.
It's a gift. Be grateful. Just keeping it real.
In the beginning of Season 5, when Kim gave Jimmy his world's second best lawyer mug a second time, he told Kim that Saul Goodman was going to give her a run for her money, which sadly became more true than they originally thought.
World's second best lawyer again. That's the real mistake. World's second best lawyer, because Saul Goodman is going to give you a run for your money.
Bet he will.
Since Kim quit the law in 609, Saul technically took the mantle by means of forfeit, with 609 even ending with Saul drinking out of his lawyer's best coffee mug. As far as the show is concerned, Saul took the label from Kim, but not in the way that we would have ever thought. So throughout the 6 seasons of Better Call Saul, as the show goes on, you can gradually notice the intro sequences for each episode degrade more and more over time. I like this so much that I actually used it as my intros for my videos. At first it's barely noticeable, with a few skips here and there, but eventually the color starts degrading as well, occasionally becoming black and white. The skips then become so huge that they even briefly skip to the next or previous title sequence. For example, seeing episode 2's title sequence within episode 1's. Eventually, the intro sequences become so degraded that by the final season, they're pretty much completely black and white. So why is this happening? Well, one piece of symbolism as to why they become so degraded is due to Jimmy turning into Saul Goodman, and eventually Gene, since the Gene scenes are all black and white. However, the main reason is due to the fact that these intro sequences actually appear as if they're on VCR tapes, which slowly degrades over time the more and more you watch them. The intros degrade over the seasons due to the further you get into the show, since you're watching the intros over and over again throughout multiple seasons. Now, not only that, but there's also an in-universe explanation, and it has to do with Gene himself. In the end of the very first Gene scene during episode 101 of the pilot for Better Call Saul, we see Gene sit down and relive his life as Saul Goodman by watching his old Saul commercials on VCR tapes, with the Saul commercials being the only color that we see in the Gene timeline, aside from the cigarette that Jimmy and Kim share in the final episode. The intro sequences degrading over time are symbolic of Gene rewatching his old Saul Goodman commercials over and over again, which also degrades the more and more he watches them, just like how the intro sequences degrade the more and more we watch the show. For the first 5 seasons of the show, each season has had 10 episodes, with the exception of season 6 having 13. Season 6 was confirmed to have 13 episodes along with being the final season before season 5 even aired, so for years now viewers have wondered what the show would do for the intros to episodes 611 to 613. Would there be new intro sequences? Would they just replay the intros to episodes 1 to 3? We all expected to get an answer during episode 611, but we actually got our answer a week sooner during episode 610. Episode 610 starts out just like any other 10th episode of Better Call Saul, with the world's best lawyer coffee mug spilling over the desk, but then we get our first cut to a blue title screen that is jarringly quiet, with it just saying Better Call Saul. As the title sequence cuts to blue, it sounds like a VCR tape is being ejected or stopped. We also see stop in the top left, followed shortly by recording as the intro ends. It seems as if the VCR tape was either ejected, followed by a blank tape being put in to record on, or the old tape is being recorded over with something new. This signifies a new part of the show, along with a new story in general, as episode 610 is our first full Gene timeline episode, which we stay in for the remainder of the show. Episode 611 intro title then starts out with a blank blue screen, followed by a cut to a shot of Gene's reclining chair rocking back and forth with a drink in the cup holder. The shot then cuts off and returns back to the blank Better Call Saul title screen before cutting away again to a brief image of Gene's car at a crossroad before turning off. First image is symbolism for the fact that Gene has to practically drink himself to sleep every night due to having to bottle up the emotions of being in solitude as Gene. The second image that we see is of course the literal crossroad that we see Gene drive to in 611, but is also a metaphor for the crossroad that he's emotionally at, where he can either go back continuing to be Gene, or he can go back to the toll booth and try and contact Kim now that he knows that she asked about him.
She asked about me.
Episode 612 and 613 follow the same format as 611, with starting out on a blue screen, cutting to a brief shot, then showing the blue Better Call Saul intro screen, followed by another brief shot before turning off. 612 shows Gene's car with his Nebraska license plate parked in snow, reminiscent of the season 5 Gene scene. The second shot shows Kim's silhouette at the Albuquerque airport, since she returns to Albuquerque in this episode to hand over her confession about what happened to Howard. Also, the shot of Kim at the Albuquerque airport in Better Call Saul 612 also parallels the shot of Walt at the Albuquerque airport in Breaking Bad season 2 episode 9, 4 Days Out. Episode 613's 2 shots are first Jeff's Albuquerque Isotopes air freshener that we saw in the season 4 Gene scene, along with episode 610. The second shot shows a prison dome mixing machine that Jimmy will be using while in prison near the end of the final episode, which is a parallel to the normal dome mixing machine that Gene would always use while at Cinnabon. It's really interesting to see how Gene's life even takes over the title sequences, with Vince Gilligan saying how at some point that he really loved the idea of the openings cutting off so abruptly, signifying the end of the show. In a way, Better Call Saul actually ended with episode 609, with episode 610 to 613 feeling like an epilogue while in Gene's world, and the intro sequences signify that very well. We either see something from the episode foreshadowing what's gonna happen, such as the prison dough mixer or Kim at the airport, and other times it's something from a previous Gene scene, such as the Albuquerque Isotopes air freshener. Better Call Saul's intro sequences have always stuck out to me in such a way that suits the show so well, and not just because the song recently got turned into a Saul 3D meme, which no, that's not an actual intro, even though some people wishes that it was. Now, not only due to the purposely low-budget 2000s VCR feeling to match Saul's commercials, along with how each episode's titles show something different relating to the life of Saul Goodman, but also the story that they tell throughout the seasons as they become more and more degraded, eventually running its course and even getting recorded over. Let me know what you think about all the Better Call Saul intro sequences down in the comments below, along with any other significant meaning or symbolism that you feel they may hold. I'd appreciate a like on the video if you've enjoyed anything I've said today. If you're new to the channel, just haven't yet already, subscribe and hit that bell bell notification to stay updated on when I post new content on Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. Check out my Patreon or give a super thanks to help support the channel financially, it truly means a lot. But most importantly, I thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.
I believe that until proven guilty, every man, woman, and child in this country is innocent. And that's why I fight for you, Albuquerque!